Hi, this is Erica Vixen Gavin coming to you on TV Confidential.
Ed Robertson with a reminder that Harry Castleman and Walter J. Podrozic will join us later on this hour. Harry and Wally, co-authors of Watching TV, American Television Season by Season. In the meantime, on the line with us right now is our friend James DuMont. James DuMont, one of the busiest actors in movies and television today. James co-stars opposite Don Johnson, Isabel Fuhrman, and Jack Huston in the new thriller Unit 234, directed by Andy Tennant from Fast Forward Films. As this program airs, Unit 234 is playing in some theaters in select cities across the U.S., including L.A., Minneapolis, and Atlanta, where TV Confidential is heard every weekend. In all three of those markets, it is also available for viewing on demand, all major platforms, wherever you are. You can follow James on Instagram, Facebook, all social media outlets. Tell us about Unit 234, James, and what did you care story, and what attracted you to this project?
Well, I'm playing the character of Leon, who is Don Johnson's driver, bodyguard, and henchman. He's his right-hand man. And so, lucky for me, I have lots of scenes with Don Johnson. Not necessarily always a whole bunch of dialogue, which is even greater. But I don't have to memorize a lot of words. But I'm in lots of scenes with Don. And this is a great thriller. It's written by Derek Steiner. It's directed by the wonderful Andy Tennant, who directed Hitch, Sweet Home Alabama. He's also the showrunner and director for the TV show Bookie. Incredible experience in Grand Cayman Island. What's great for me is this is a great departure from Chad on the Righteous Gemstones, where Chad has been kind of like the enforcer and ass kicker for Christ for Jesse Gemstone these last, 4 seasons. And now I have a character that's, the very quiet, silent, but deadly. And so that's what I get to do. And then, I'm in a Mercedes G-Wagon, it doesn't. I'm in a really luxury car. I'm packing heat, and I get to kick some ass, and I get my ass kicked too. Without spoiler alert, got to kick some ass and get your ass kicked.
That's right.
And then I get to work with Don Johnson. I mean, what's not to love about that? In Grand Cayman Island, this beautiful place. I was there for 6 weeks, and it was Isabel Fuhrman from the Orphan franchise, amazing. Jack Huston from Boardwalk Empire, and more recently, Mayfair Witches. He also just directed his first feature. It's amazing. It's just an incredible cast. It's going to be a great little cat and mouse thriller. Perfect thing if you want to go to the movie theater and see a thriller, which doesn't happen a lot in the movie theater. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be in Los Angeles, Minneapolis, Atlanta, Orlando, and Detroit. Those are the 5 cities, and L.A. And so I'm here. We open tomorrow. I just flew in from New Orleans. I'm here for 6 days, and I fly to Boston for a gig, and I go to New York, teach in New York, and then I'm at the Tribeca Film Center all through June. So yeah, the moniker of busiest working man in show business, that used to be James Brown. I don't know. I consider myself busiest. I'm always working at it so that it works for me.
Yes.
And that means teaching people. I have my on-camera workouts, oncameraworkouts.com, where I have about 2,500 students all over the world. I specialize really in self-tape, not necessarily an acting or an acting teacher, but in self-tape auditions, because that's how I've made my living in the last 15 years is booking off of self-tapes.
OnCameraWorkouts.com. OnCameraWorkouts.com is James's newest workshop. James DuMont, busiest actor, one of the busiest actors in movies and television. You can see him opposite Don Johnson and Isabel Fuhrman and Andy Huston in Unit 234, which is seen right now as this program airs in select theaters. It is also available streaming on demand all over the place. James DuMont with us. He just got off a plane from L.A., but he's spending time talking to us. I have to tell you, I have our mutual friend Charles Sherman sent me your latest headshot. I don't know if it's the lighting, if it's the angle, or all of the above, but you look like you dropped about 15 pounds.
I did. I dropped about 22.
Okay,
yeah,
well,
I did.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. You know,
well,
what?
Just because, like I was right at the borderline of diabetic, borderline and then full, and then back at the borderline, and I just wanted to be done with it. So I took a little bit of Ozempic, and then I've been exercising pretty frantically. I've been boxing, I've been doing Pilates, and then eating right. I mean, I say I'm eating right, but I'm literally in the parking lot of In-N-Out right by LAX because it's my favorite go-to spot when I first get here,
Yeah, absolutely. So, and look, I've talked to enough professional trainers to tell you that as long as this is kind of related to the greater topic we've been talking about, James. Doing the work, doing all the little things you have to do to move your performing career forward if you want to succeed as a working actor. And so 167 out of 168 hours a week, you're doing all the things you're supposed to be doing to keep your weight down and eat better the way you want to eat. But if you allow yourself a cheat meal here and there, that's okay. That's right, exactly. And I'm probably doing it protein style, get rid of the bread. You know, I don't do the fries very much, so keep it easy. Keep it easy. I live in New Orleans and New York, so I straddle between those two places. And in New Orleans, you just have to moderate your moderation. It's like that city is a fantastic city if you really know how to moderate your life of drinking and eating and calories and stuff. But in New York, man, you're walking. I have a 5-floor walk up to my apartment, so I'm walking 5 floors 3-4 times a day. So that, and you walk around everywhere in New York. So I'm just walking miles. So it's a good way to kind of keep me, in order to get the real payoff of all the things that I've been putting investment in myself. I got to stay healthy. Absolutely. So really, I kind of took a really big hold on that, and I think it's now moving me more into back to where I was for a bit as a supporting lead and maybe less charactery per se. John Goodman and I are friends, and we've talked about how him losing a lot of weight. A lot of people were very concerned about him, but he goes, they were more concerned when they thought I was going to have a heart attack. He goes, but I everybody loves the funny fat guy till he's dead. Yeah. So we got to figure out a way to keep our audience happy with the kind of work that we do, but also have our bodies be able to sustain a long, thriving career without health issues. So this is constantly, and it's no different for men than women. I think it's harder for women, but even for us men, we got to figure out a way to kind of keep a longevity to our careers. Exactly. Longevity to our career and longevity to our lives. I turned 61 a couple of months ago, James, and I'm fortunate. Wow. I'm fortunate I can still do the stairs. I live on the 3rd floor of my building. I'm fortunate I can still do stairs. I can still do I try to walk at least 3 miles a day. I'm fortunate I can do inclines. There's one hill not too far from where I am. I haven't done it in a while, so I'm gonna when I try it again. It'll probably take me a little while before I can do it without losing my breath, but I can do it. And I think you and I think we're within a couple of years of each other. You're grateful. You can still do a lot of those things too. Oh yeah, no, it's public information, but I turned 60 in August. Okay. And as much as, but no one believes it because my energy and the kind of drive that I have is not your typical 60. Because I see people that are in their 60s, and I'm not that. I'm not there. I'm running around. Yeah. So, but yeah. So for me, I'm just trying to find a way to keep the longevity going, man. That's my deal. I want to stick around for all the pennies with what we're doing. James DuMont is currently seen in Unit 234 opposite Don Johnson, Isabel Furman, Jack Houston, directed by Andy Tennant. Available streaming on demand everywhere. as this program airs, also available theatrically in select cities, including Minneapolis, Atlanta, and Los Angeles. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
This portion of TV Confidential is brought to us by our friends at Front Porch Realty, the community of realtors in the Northern Bay Area of California that is committed to finding the solution that is best for their clients. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or looking to sell or lease your property in Northern California, call Karen Strain at 415-886-7411 or visit frontporchrealtygroup.com for more information on how they can help you.
One more item. If you're starting a company, particularly one that is in an emerging market, you know that averting any sort of legal dispute is crucial to your business plan. Our friends at Tectonic Law offer an array of services that can help you avoid and preempt future litigation while also developing and protecting your intellectual property and intangible assets. Tectonic Law serves the needs of a host of emerging industries throughout California and beyond, including industrial designers, beverage makers, artists, farmers, retail stores, health practitioners, wellness experts, cosmetics manufacturers, nonprofit organizations, innovators in sustainable practices, and libraries. Go to tectoniclaw.com to learn more about how Tectonic Law can help your business thrive. tectoniclaw.com. Rock solid representation for groundbreaking industries.
Hi, this is Louise Schaefer, and you are listening to TV Confidential.
James recently was seen in American Sports Story. It was his, you said it was your third collaboration with Ryan Murphy?
Yes, that's correct.
Oh.
I did 2 seasons of American Horror Story. I did Coven opposite Sarah Paulson, and then Freak Show with Jessica Lange and Sarah Paulson.
Okay, so I've asked you, I think I've asked you this question before. Now, American Sports Story, it's a dramatization of the death of pro football player Aaron Hernandez.
Yes.
You play the detective who prosecuted Hernandez. When you play a character who's either based on a real person or are in a project that is based on historical events, do you approach it differently as you would playing a work of fiction, or are the basics there regardless of whether you're playing a real person or a fictional person?
That's a great question. I think for me, I've played a lot of historical characters, most of which are dead. Mm-hmm. So I don't have that physical person to kind of either meet or draw upon. And sometimes it's a person like, when I did for Trumbo, or I did for The Butler, I didn't have any video or YouTube things to kind of follow.
Yeah.
For me, with American Sports Story, I got lucky because that detective is actually a friend of mine in Massachusetts. He's a state trooper. And so I actually could have reached out to him, but I didn't. And so I wanted to wait till I was done with the show before I did that. I felt weird about picking up the phone or trying to connect with somebody. But yeah, I like to do a little bit of research, whether they're dead or alive, in terms of mannerisms, vocally, and trying to pick up certain things about them. Or one of my acting teachers is a guy named Larry Moss, who's thanked on the Oscars all the time. And one of the things he said, when you're doing character work and you're working on your homework and research, find out what the character's Achilles heel is, the thing that's their fundamental weakness. Just like Superman has kryptonite, what's their weakness? Because you'll find, once you figure out what their weakness is, most of the things that they say or do are to cover up that fundamental weakness. So I found I try to find out what's their holdup, what's their problem, what was their weakness. And in both of those cases with, say, Trumbo and The Butler, I was able to find out that arrogance was impropriety, being holier than thou with everybody else, but they're able to be corrupt. So I know that here's somebody who has a high moral compass, but yet his demise is because he accepted a fur coat from a mafia guy and then let him off the hook as a judge. So here's a guy that was like putting people in jail for being communists or just alleged communists. And then here he ends up at the end of his life, he just ends up like corrupt, So I feel it's like I always try to look at what's their weakness, and then what do they say or do historically or documented that ties into the story.
James DuMont plays the detective who prosecuted pro football player Aaron Hernandez, an American sports story, now available viewing on demand on Hulu. You can also see James in the new thriller Unit 234, also starring Don Johnson, Isabel Furman, Jack Houston, available viewing on demand, all platforms. You can follow James on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, as well as on camera. Workouts.com. Before I forget, if memory serves, when we last talked to you, you were working or trying to develop a project, either a movie or a miniseries based on your uncle, Alan DuMont of the DuMont Network family. Is that still, have you been able to move that further down the field? What can you tell us about that?
I wish I could. I've been so busy with so many things that it's been really hard to kind of keep that project going.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that I haven't thought about it. I have to take more action and maybe bring some people involved. But the more that I'm moving things in different directions of producing my own things, I've been working in that direction. Now that I'm done with the Righteous Gemstones, we did 4 seasons. I did 20 episodes. We just finished, and the last episode aired this last Sunday. Now I'm not on a show 6 months of the year, so I have more time to be able to put in a little effort into the development of this project. Alan P. DuMont was just a pioneer on so many different levels. I think we might have talked about it, but, for people that do broadcasting and communication, if they know their history, he had the first television network. He had multiple stations in cities throughout the East, the Northeast. And one of the pioneering things he had is he had the first African-American woman had her own cooking show. Mm-hmm. First Asian-American woman had her own cooking show. And Cavalcade of Stars, Show of Shows, had the thing called the Jackie Gleason Show.
That's right.
Where there was a skit about a bus driver named Ralph and his friend named Norton that became the Honeymooners. Mm-hmm. So he's a pioneer in so many different areas. I look like him, so I'm very interested in trying to kind of continue that project now that I have a little bit more free time, because half the year I was going back and forth, from New Orleans to Charleston to New York, working on the Righteous Gemstones on HBO.
Before I forget, I don't think I've asked you this. Now, on Righteous Gemstones, you work with your son. You don't play father. Yeah. You don't play father and son on Righteous Gemstones, but if I remember correctly, you did play father and son on another HBO project some years ago. What's it like working with your son, and how long did it take before you stopped thinking of each other as father and son and started thinking of each other as working actors?
It is one of my greatest joys to be working. I say to people, I'm most comfortable, because I'm not always comfortable in every situation. I'm most comfortable when I'm with my family and when I'm on set. And the fact that I've had the last 6 years and 4 seasons, he had 25 episodes because he plays Danny McBride's son, Pontius Gemstone, the middle son, and then working opposite John Goodman as his grandfather in the show, kind of mentoring Kelton. His name is Kelton DuMont. And, it's been an amazing experience. We've had father and son together, Father's Day on set, which is an amazing thing to have. And the focus moving forward without, raining on his parade is I'm creating projects for he and I to work on together. Mm-hmm. So, the next project we have is a feature that he's the lead in, along with a very good producing partner and director friend of his. I'll have a part in that as well. We're going to try to produce that. And then we have a second film lined up where he's going to play the son of the lead. So, it's one of those things where I want to try to create projects, and that's partly why I have a brand new manager, is that, they want to try to find projects for us together, that we could be on shows together, films together, and create projects together. Because I feel that's just, those are the 2 places that I'm most fulfilled and happy and creatively challenged. So in terms of father-son, he plays a joke on me because I was the first one cast, and then he got an audition for it, and then they flew us in for him to meet with Danny to see how his improv skills were and to get along, see if they got along, and they did. And but he always makes a joke of, like, my character Chad plays Danny McBride's, like, right-hand man, his best buddy, but I'm not a gemstone. And my son always reminds, well, that's true, Dad, but you're a friend of a gemstone. You're not. I am a gemstone. You are not. So we always have this kind of fun little, like, rivalry thing of, like, who gets the better room, who's treated better, who gets more scenes. You know what I mean? And we've just had a great time and experience together. Yeah. I didn't want it to end, but we're finishing it on a really high note. The show's doing very well. Instagram is just all over the place with these memes from the show. And we've been posting all of our, photo dumping and videos from behind the scenes. And it's been a great experience, so much so that I told Danny, I sent him a very nice email. I said, look, man, you got me wanting to work with my kid all the time. So he'll tell you whether that's a good thing or a bad thing over time.
Well, just listening to you, it sounds like, as far as James DuMont is concerned, that's a good thing.
It is a very good thing.
Okay. James is talking to us from LAX. He just flew in. He stopped to talk to us. We're going to let him go. So you can see James DuMont, Unit 234, available streaming on demand, all platforms, all 4 seasons of Righteous Gemstones available on HBO. James DuMont, always a pleasure to chat with you. I look forward to our next conversation.
Me too. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Harry Castleman and Walter J. Podrazik, co-authors of Watching TV, American Television Season by Season. Harry and Wally will join us. We come back on TV Confidential.
Who needs a vacation? Are you ready for an unforgettable getaway? Start packing your bags because Branson, Missouri, the vacation and entertainment capital of the U.S., is calling your name. For just $99 per person, here's what you get. A full 3-day, 2-night stay in a luxury resort hotel. A delicious full breakfast buffet every morning you're here. And when you call right now, free show tickets worth up to $100. That's right, free show tickets to an award-winning show on us. You don't have to leave the country for an amazing vacation. You can drive or fly to Branson and have an incredible time. Whether you bring in the whole family or just planning a romantic escape, this trip is built for you. We guarantee you'll love Branson. This is not a timeshare. It's just an unbeatable vacation deal for only $99 per person. You book now, you can use your tickets anytime this year. You don't even need to know your travel dates to lock in the special price. Hurry, because this offer won't last long. Call our Branson vacation experts today.
800-435-1887. 800-435-1887. 800-435-1887. That's 800-435-1887.